It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer and birthday boy, Dan, and intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Dan's birthday was actually on Memorial Day. So happy birthday to our buddy. We love him very much. It is good to be reunited with. I feel like I haven't seen him in like a week, dude.
I know the long weekend got us, but I was happy to take a little bit of time off, spend it with some family. I told you before the show, just at the youth baseball fields all weekend long, getting our butt kicked, if I'm being honest, Chris. So it was tough, but as you pointed out, these are the good old days. You know, I got to remember that every time I step on the field with Teddy.
That's right. As I was taking a walk with Brady, he's a few days removed from having his wisdom teeth out, so he can't get back to the gym lifting weights quite yet. So he took his walk with, his old man walk with me yesterday, and I've just had my arm around him, and he's just like this hulking beast. I was like, oh, I used to have like fun little baseball tournaments with you on Memorial Day. Remember those? He's like, yeah, Dad, I remember those.
Oh God. Teddy and I went to the mall the other day. Like, we had to kill some time before his basketball practice. So I get out of the car. I'm in the parking lot, and I go to hold his hand. He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me. And then I was like, all right, okay, that's fine. I told Olivia later. I said, Teddy wouldn't let me hold his hand. And she goes, yeah, I think that's weird now for him.
Hurt your feelings too.
And I'm like, Isla, my daughter, Isla, you're never going to do that to Daddy. I will always be able to hold your hand. Teddy, that's fine. I understand that one, but not you, girl.
Welcome to Life Lessons with Trevor Plouffe. Jeez. All right. A couple things. I'm wearing a Warehouse Games pullover because Ball in Play starts Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Hop on the live stream. It's always fun to chop it up. Melinda is back with us. Kelsey is back with us as far as the announce crew goes. And then we've got some new players, new teams, the whole bit. It's a blast. It's a really, really good tournament. Y'all are going to enjoy it. I can guarantee that. All right, we got a ton to get to because we had an extra day off, right? No show on Monday. I'm going to start with a tip of the cap. And listen, I wish we could do this for everybody that makes their major league debut. Nick Enright, who is a bullpen piece in Cleveland, really, really deserves this. 2022, he was a Rule 5 pick of the Marlins, and he went down there, and they did a health check on him, and he realized he had cancer. So he was actually sent back to Cleveland's organization. He battled that. He fought the good fight, and he is now back with the Cleveland Guardians, and he made his debut on Sunday. 2 scoreless innings, struck out 3, including Riley Green for his first K. Just a wonderful, wonderful moment. You have no idea what people go through to get to the major leagues. This guy hopped another hurdle that most people don't need to.
Yeah, I know. I was watching this. It was awesome to see. And then afterwards, in his post-game press conference, I thought this was actually insightful, and I understood it. He said, obviously you're going to be a little nervous, making your debut. And he said, I've been playing against these guys for the last, like 3 or 4 years. So it's nice to see some familiar faces. He's talking about facing these guys in the minor leagues. And that is true. Sometimes, we faced the Red Sox and the Yankees when I was coming up pretty much in every single league. So when I got to the big leagues, I felt comfortable facing all these guys. You felt like you knew the organization. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, is he related to Barry Enright?
It's a good question. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Okay, they kind of look like each other too.
Okay, well, something
maybe a distant relative,
perhaps. Okay. We'll look it up and maybe try and get it to you by the end of the show. Good for him. Good for him. All right, we're going to start the rest of the show with a guy who has made quite the entrance the last 2 nights.
Off we go with Ohtani blasting a ball way gone. 1 pitch, 1 swing, 1 run.
Unlike Sunday night in New York when he did that against the Mets, that wasn't the only offense for the Dodgers. They go on and win in Cleveland, first of a 3-game set. Most people probably don't realize this. He is having a better offensive season than he did a year ago. Now, you look at the batting average, no, but OPS, it's slightly better. He's got 19 home runs as opposed to 13 through 54 games a season ago. Stolen base, if you're going to do the trajectory, he's only on pace to get 33 of those. But last year through May, he only had 13 swipes. He's got 11 at this year. And the second half really took off running. So what we're seeing is a A better Ohtani?
I think we're just seeing Ohtani. This is who he is. And the stolen bases thing, I think, is, I think he can steal bases whenever he wants. And I think he's being cautious with it, understanding about a long season. Obviously, they went to the World Series last year, so they played extra games. I think he understands that. So if it comes down to it, he's like, hey, I got 50-50 last year. Maybe I'll just join the 40-40 club too. If he wants to do that, he could do that. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind. But yeah, I think that we're just seeing who he is as a hitter. He's an elite hitter, Chris. And then, as we're going to talk about here, he's getting ready to come back on the mound for the Dodgers. And I think once he gets back on the mound, if he continues to hit like this, which I think he will, I think a lot of people are going to remember just how special this guy is. If they've had forgotten and got Ohtani fatigue, they're going to remember when he gets back on the mound.
One other thing about the hitting before we get to the pitching. If Mookie doesn't get hurt in 2024, there's a possibility we don't see Shohei as the leadoff man. Remember, that only happened once Mookie got hurt. And then when Mookie came back, they were like, have you seen what he's doing? We're not moving him out of the leadoff spot. It is such an enormous advantage for the Dodgers to have a guy who can physically fill up the batter's box and then start the game like we've seen the last 2 days in Cleveland and New York like that.
I'd like to track, I'd like to track how many first pitch fastballs are thrown around the league, and then we'll see what happens with Ohtani the rest of the year. I got to imagine some guys are going to start saying, there's no point in me trying to throw a get me over fastball. That's old school baseball. I think pitchers need to do better on that. I think we need to see some first pitch off-speed pitches, or else we're going to get homers like this. Acuna, we're going to talk about later. He did that against Pivetta. I wonder if that's going to start becoming a thing as we're putting these monsters in the leadoff position.
I'm waiting for the day that Ohtani leads off the game. We get one of these. Yeah, we're good. I'm holding up 4 fingers.
Problem is, you know who's sitting behind him too. So,
all right, let's talk a little bit about the pitching. He threw live BP on Sunday before he hit that homer against the Mets. 22 pitches against his teammates, mostly fastballs, cutters, and sinkers. He did touch 97, sat 94, 95. The one question we haven't asked is, what do the Dodgers need out of him on the mound this year?
They need him to be a starter that can actually give him a little bit of length. I don't know if that's going to happen right away with him, but that's what they need right now. They need starters that can go into the 6th, into the 7th inning. Right now, their bullpen is absolutely taxed. They've thrown the most innings in baseball by far, 232 and a third for them. The next closest is 219 by the Milwaukee Brewers. So they need him to be a starter. I don't know if that's actually going to happen right away, where he's going to. I don't know what his pitch count is going to be, but I can't imagine Dave Roberts letting him go into even the 80s or 90s right away. I feel like he's going to be like on a 75 pitch count for at least the first few starts. But I mean, that's what they need, Chris. They need some starters that are going to give them length.
Yeah, man, I've wrestled with this one. Starters ERA, they were ranked 23rd coming into Monday. Yamamoto obviously lowered that. 13 different pitchers have started a game for the Los Angeles Dodgers this year. Now there's a couple of bullpens.
I think it's nine actual starters.
Yeah, but that's an alarming number, and hell, that number could grow even higher shortly. I just do you see him? Because he's not going on a rehab assignment, so he's going to have to throw these live BPs, and then he's going to have to go out and go hit show homers later in the day. And right now, they're relegating him to doing this about once a week, is what it sounds like at this point. How can he be built up and ready to go full bore even by October if he can't go out and just focus on pitching? This is the part of the equation I don't understand.
Oh, he's going to have to ramp it up. He's going to have to get in the bullpen and do like up downs where he throws a simulated inning, sit down. He's going to have to try to simulate game speed as best he can. You're right. Like he can't go on a rehab assignment because he's got a hit. And this is why we should be fascinated with this guy. Think about what we're talking about here. The pitcher Shohei can't go rehab because he has to go hit leadoff for one of the best offenses in the game. Like he's got to go continue his. He has a 191 OPS plus. Like, it's crazy what this guy's doing at the plate. So to answer your question, I mean, I don't know. They're really going to have to just get him in the bullpen more often and up his pitch count in the bullpen, I guess. I mean, he was throwing live BP, but one of the guys he was facing was their game planning coordinator. Like, I don't know how much that's helping him.
But I guess that's my question is, how does he get to where he needs to get for the Dodgers? Or do they just need to look at 2025 and say, whatever we do get out of Shohei is extra? We cannot rely on Shohei the pitcher. Is that the way you would look at it? Because that's the way I'm seeing it.
I don't think we can't rely on him. I think it's like you're mentioning, how much can we get him built up and how safe do we need to play this? They don't want to just willy-nilly this thing. I think they're really trying to figure out the safest way to get him back. And, I think that's the most important thing to them. It isn't rushing him so we can get those innings that I was talking about. They understand how important he is. So yeah, I think it's going to take some time. And I don't know, when we were talking about this in the offseason, I guess we really didn't think about, him getting back into the swing of things and how difficult it would be, because that's what it's proving to be right now.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think the Dodgers should expect out of Shohei. There are a lot of people that say, oh, we'll just bring him back as a reliever. Folks, this isn't the one-time World Baseball Classic where he can come out and face Mike Trout and call it a day. We're talking about needing him at the most important times in October. And I don't see him in between at bats running down to the bullpen to go get ready to try and go throw the 8th inning against the meat of the – I don't see that happening. So you let us know, how do you see this is going to play out? Whatever they get out of Shohei in 2025 as a pitcher, is that extra or is that critical for them to successfully defend their crown? A lot to get to with Shohei, so answer those questions in the comments section. In the meantime, let's focus on a guy who is there every 5 days for the Detroit Tigers, and Tarik Skubal. Now, I know that Cleveland took 3 out of 4 against the Tigers over the weekend, but Skubal on Sunday was freaking unreal. He actually went where no one has gone before.
On a 103-mile-an-hour fastball, Tarik Skubal's 13th strikeout ends his first career complete game.
Brilliant. You got that right, Dan. 13 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed, 94 pitches. It's the most strikeouts ever in a Maddox, right? Under 100 pitches. I just sat there. I watched the whole game, obviously, because it was against my team. And I just shook my head. I put out there, and everybody was like, oh, you're just trying to do the reverse jinx. I really thought that he was en route to a perfect game. When you combine the way he was throwing the ball with the fact that there was no Kwan and no Santana in that lineup, I thought he had a chance at different kind of history.
Yeah, he's just a different cat, man. Even the way he reacted there after getting the last out, like he knows what he's doing right now. He knows how he's feeling, and that I don't want to say he's unhittable, but it's dang near close right now, especially when he's filling the zone up like that. And I think that's the biggest thing with him that we've seen over the last couple of years. If you look at like his numbers, he's just throwing more strikes, Chris. He's like trusting his stuff, filling up the strike zone and saying, I'm better than the hitter. So he's just challenging everyone. And he's got the pitches to do it. He got 2 different fastballs that he throws. Obviously the changeup. If you go on his Baseball Savant page right now, it's so fun. Like, you just see all the pitches he throws. They're all in the positive, run category. So he's doing it right now, and he's feeling it, and that's a dangerous thing for hitters when a guy that has this stuff is confident. And again, just throwing the amount of strikes that he throws. That's why he's able to, throw the Maddox. He's challenging guys, and even when he's challenging, he's still getting swing and miss. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch.
He's got 92 strikeouts and 7 walks.
Yeah.
7. That's the sort of shit that Curt Schilling used to do so well. He would, he'd give up the occasional solo homer. He would strike guys out, and he wouldn't give out any free passes. So if there was damage done, it wasn't these self-inflicted wounds. I don't understand how he's got a 2.49 ERA. Where did he give up runs?
I think he had 1 blow-up start, right?
He did. And actually, I think the Dodgers touched him up for 4 on opening day, maybe. But we
looked at that before.
Yeah.
He had let's see, I have it here. Yeah, it was against Boston. He got 6 1/3, 5 earned runs Still struck out 11 in that game and only walked 1. But then the Dodgers got him for 4 in 5 innings. So those are the 2 starts. Other than that, he's been phenomenal.
He is the first pitcher in Tigers history to have 4 straight home starts where he had double-digit strikeouts. We're talking about a franchise going backward. Justin Verlander, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. Jack Morris, who is a Hall of Famer. Denny McLain, who frickin' in the 60s was winning 30 games in a year. Hal Newhouser, who won the pitching triple crown in the 40s. Never had been done until Tarik Skubal did it. That's some pretty damn impressive stuff.
I got his last. So he's thrown 11 games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 games weren't great. He pitched against the Dodgers, like I said, 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. Then the next game was against Seattle, in Seattle, 5 2/3 with 3 earned runs. After that, the next 9 games, Chris, he's 8-1 with a 1.86. That includes the game against Boston I talked about. 82 strikeouts to 3 walks in that span. In 58 innings. 58 innings, 82 Ks, 3 walks.
So now we have to focus on the contractual side. He is a free agent after the 2026 season. Do you know who represents him?
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras is correct. So will he become the highest paid pitcher in the history of the sport? Look into your contract crystal ball.
Yes, but I think also there's one guy that could stop him from that, and it's Paul Skeens. If Paul Skeens somehow wants to sign a deal, and I guess so, it can't be him because the Pirates aren't going to give him that. I don't know if he gets traded and somebody else wants to give him an extension. I think he might be able to surpass what Skubal's going to get because Skubal is going to be 30, like you mentioned. 10-year deal's not out of the far-fetched. And then what are you thinking AAV in a 10-year deal? Like he's probably going to get, he's going to get upper echelon starting pitcher money even after for 10 years. So you're thinking 40 mil. So if he does that, he'd be the highest paid pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, the one thing that could prevent it at the beginning is the work stoppage, which might be around the corner at that time. What? I don't know.
Don't play into that narrative, Chris. Don't play into that.
That's into it.
No, hey, we're not. We're going to be good. Baseball is going too good right now for there to be a work stoppage. That's just leverage pandering right there.
I'm not leveraging anyone. I'm bringing up facts, which is the contract is up after the 2026 season. Hate to bring it up, but I'm doing that. Gosh, some age 30 going into his age 30 season. You think teams will give him a decade for 350, 400 million?
I think they're going to have to if they want him. I don't think teams want to do that with starting pitchers. I don't think they want to give more than 3 years to a starting pitcher, if I'm being honest. But they're going to have to. They know his agent, what his accolades are going to be there. And if you want his services, you're going to have to keep outbidding. That's just how it goes.
Well, Yamamoto, 12 for 325, but he was 25 years old when he came over. That is a huge difference. Garrett Cole had just turned 29 when he signed his 9-year, $324 million deal. The biggest the Tigers have given to a pitcher was Verlander, 7 for 180. It was really a 5-year extension because they added 5 years on top of the last 2 he was still going to. Yeah.
What do the Tigers do next year?
Dude, I mean,
what are they? They're going to be a good baseball team.
You got to run it. Yeah, you got to run it with him.
You want to trade everybody. This is the one guy you don't want to trade in his walk year?
No. You have a chance to win the whole freaking thing this year and probably next year.
But you always want to trade people.
No, I only want to trade people off of bad teams.
Okay.
I wanted to trade Shohei a couple of years ago. I wanted to trade, I would listen to the whole Skeens thing, even though the Pirates came out. I think that's something you would have to definitely do. The Tigers are a team that can win the World Series in 2025 and 2026 with Tarik Skubal. They tried to get Alex Bregman here. So they're willing
to money. Keep that dude in do they have pinstripes? No.
The English D. They have the
keep him in those belt loops.
The English D.
Yeah.
Let us know what's going to happen with Tarik Skubal. You think he's going to get more than Yamamoto? I think he does.
I think he's going to for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he has to pitch like he's been pitching.
And who's to say? He's been doing it since he returned at the end of 23.
Yeah, it's been 2 years of this.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been freaking, and he's an awesome dude. I had
Yeah.
such a nice time with him on dugout discussions, like getting to know him a little bit and his mindset. Really, like, awesome. I think he is the perfect combination of competitor out there and kind of understanding that, yes, as big a thing as baseball is to him in terms of his job, that he has like a nice perspective on the rest of the world. I really enjoyed him.
He's
a lot.
also like earmuffs, built like a brick shithouse, right?
No,
Like he's just like a
yeah,
fucking
he got a little belly on him. Like I kind of, yeah.
mass is gas, baby. Come on.
It's that. Well, I could add to that mass is gas. But
You
it's a
should, you
different
probably thought
kind.
really hard.
It's a different kind, if you don't mind. All right, hold on one second. I just blew out my my ad, so let me get that up here. Sorry, Dan, edit this out for me, dummy.
I had a good Shohei stat I forgot to talk about too.
What was that?
This is a Jimmy O'Brien thing. 47 games out of 54, he's either gotten a hit or a walk.
Is
It's
that
only
good?
7 games out of 54 he's like just been a non-factor.
Oh, okay.
I like stats like that.
And I like this. That today's episode is sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. Baseball season is here. Lots of games to watch each and every night. So grab a 5 Hour Energy to stay alert to watch all your favorite teams. Or if you stayed up late to see that intense doubleheader or a great finish, take a 5 Hour Energy shot in the morning so you can start your day as well. Head on over to 5 Hour Energy's website to find over 15 flavors to choose from, with flavors like watermelon and tropical burst, cherry, peach, mango, and more. There is a flavor for just about everyone out there. I ain't kidding. If you like different flavors, 5 Hour Energy is the place to go. On the site, you can even have the option to build your own 12-pack or 24-pack. You choose the flavors. It's delivered right to your door. Right now, you have a chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. Take your shot with 5 Hour Energy and make this summer your best one yet. Visit 5heshot.com for full details and rules and enter today. No purchase necessary. That ends June 30th of 2025. All right. Got to admit, it took almost 5 years on this show, but I finally got a prediction right. And by the way, I know it could take him some time. I don't think it's going to. Wouldn't surprise me if he hits multiple home runs this weekend. I'm just putting it out there right now.
Look at this. Are you kidding me? He is back.
Yeah, we're talking about Ronald Acuna, who homered on his first pitch back. He added another one on Saturday, although the Braves lost 2 of 3, and we'll get to that in a second. That was some amazing stuff. That was drama and theater.
I'm also very happy for you. I always wonder, he had to go up there saying, I am ambushing first pitch. It's not like, hey, I'm going to see. Although, like I mentioned earlier in the show, that Pivetta pitch was like 93 right down the middle. So you want to hack at that one. But I'm curious if he was before his at bat, like, you know what? Like, why waste time? Let's go hack right there. It kind of looked like he did.
And then he threw somebody out at second base from right field. Like, we saw a little bit of everything that Ronald Acuna is about. And man,
it's good to see him back. And the Braves need him.
Yeah. And you know who's actually woken up a little bit? I know Ozzie Albies started a hit streak before Acuna returned, but when his buddy's back in the lineup, it's like Albies is a different player.
It's a lot of fun when you get a player of his caliber coming back and he starts out with a bang like that. Like it does get the team going a little bit. Again, I understand what happened in the series, but they need that energy.
Okay, they need a little 5 Hour Energy is what they need.
Mm-hmm.
They also need a little bit of a wake-up call because there have been some boneheaded plays, including one that is the ultimate head scratcher of the 2025 season.
Ozzie out to center. It falls in front of Merrill. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Did he? And now they're going to get the double play at second base. Wait.
No, he didn't catch it. Eli White thought he caught it.
I was going to say, I was so confused at Eli White returning to the bag. But, yeah, that dropped in front of Merrill and Eli White.
Help me.
I think Tuiasosopo right there was like, did I do something wrong? And I think he kind of did. I think they're both at fault here, for being honest. I think we have the shot of Tuiasosopo, if we can get that up, Dan. The number one thing, though, when you're on second base in this situation is you got to know where your outfielders are so you can get a good read on the ball. I'm sure he did. Here's where I think Tuiasosopo messed up. It's really hard to see in the video, but instead he puts two hands up like, hey, stop. He wanted him to stop on the base at third base because Merrill came up throwing, and he wanted to hold him. Usually that's one hand up, one hand pointing to the bag. So I don't know if Eli saw him put two hands up and just was like, oh, no, he caught it. I got to get back. Obviously, he thought Merrill caught it. I don't know, but a little bit of boneheadedness from Eli and a little bit of missed direction from Tuiasosopo. And then the whole hands out thing, I don't know. You can't really do that to your players. Come
on. At first I didn't understand what had happened because I think I was just flipping around on social media. I was like, wait, and everybody's going, oh no, Eli White. So I look at the play and I was like, oh, there's a base hit. Wait, it took me a minute to kind of digest what the hell just happened because I didn't. To Eli White's credit, he stood there at his locker like he needs to and kind of took us through what he was thinking, which he said, listen, I just kind of had a brain fart is essentially what happened. He lost track of everything. And
That's
can
tough.
I play what?
You play so much baseball, like things are going to happen. Then, something like this happens and it looks so bad. But again, how many times has this guy been on base? How many times has he made that play in his life? And just so happened he got it wrong in a really tough, crucial time. If that happens, in a 7-run baseball game, we're not really talking about, but that was a 1-run game. So
that was the Braves call, and Brandon, who's their play-by-play guy and does a great job. I was confused with you, bro. So I harbor no ill will on that call, thinking that he got doubled off base because it was just too weird. You got to listen to the Padres call of this thing. Listen to Mud in the middle of it. It is hilarious. Here we go.
Albies to center field. It's in for a base hit. White will be stopped at third. The throw comes in. What is he doing? He's going back to second for some reason.
He thought he caught it.
Wow.
He thought he caught that ball in center. He didn't want to get doubled up. What a break.
Dude, Mud sounds like the kind of guy you're sitting around the table and y'all are just having beers and you're watching the game. You're like, what is he thinking? What's he? Yeah. He goes, what a break that is. I've listened to that 100 times and I've laughed like it's the first time I heard it every time.
They're so good together, both of them.
God, that is.
I aspire to be that good. I do.
Do you have anything on your resume where you made such an embarrassing play, like a mental gaffe, where you just want to crawl in a hole?
I've forgotten outs before. I was at second base, forced out at second instead of turning the double play. That's a tough look for me. My buddy Kevin Slowey was on the mound, so I felt extra bad for that. But those are the times where it's really tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stinks.
Forgetting the outs is a no doubt.
Ooh, that's brutal. All right, finally, then let's focus on the Braves, who keep falling further and further behind the Phillies because the Phillies keep on winning, the Braves keep on losing. Start of 3-game set in Philly tonight, Strider and Ranger. How big a series is this for the ATL?
I think anytime they play the Mets or the Phillies going forward, it's a massive series. They're trying to make up this ground, and the one way they can surely do that is to go win series against these teams, so you don't have to rely on other teams to beat them. And the Phillies are super hot, best record in baseball, all that stuff. I just think anytime they match up, they need to go and obviously try to win the series. They got to make these games up, Chris, because 2 games under 5 right now. We expect more out of this team. They were surging, got to 500, all those. So that's why I think it's big. You just got to take those series when you're playing the teams in front of you. And I'm looking right now how many more times they play. They play a 3-game set here. They play another 3-game set at the end of June against the Phillies.
And then they'll have one more series.
End of August.
Yep.
And that's it.
Got to win the series. Got to get it to 7.5 games. I said it, I think, on Friday. I made a proclamation that the Braves were still going to win the division. Boy, you lose this one.
Starts today.
Yeah, you have to. Fun pitching matchups. Suarez, Sanchez, and Wheeler for Philadelphia. Strider, Smith, Shawver, who's been incredible as of late, and Sale. So, Braves, it's right in front of you. You got your studs back on the mound and in the batter's box. Let's say, hey, Ronald Acuna, set a tone out the gate. Let's see what you got.
I apologize. I didn't know they got to over 500. I thought they just got to 500, but they did get one game over 500 after beating Boston.
Yeah. Philly, we'll talk about them in a second. God, they're unstoppable at this point. All right, congratulations. Marcelo Meyer got the call up because of injury. Eventually got the hit. Family was there. That was nice to see. He's added a few more hits. They're going to need that because he's playing third base as of right now. Alex Bregman is down for the count, placed on the injured list with a strained quad. Injury a couple of years ago cost him a couple of months. He does not sound optimistic at all.
Just given the way you had been hitting at the start of the season, it's particularly frustrating to kind of have this hit right now.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is as despondent a guy as you could hear.
I think he was having a fun time there, and I know the team isn't playing up to where they think they can, but he was a part of maybe why they could make a run here. Obviously, how he started the season, and I think when you're playing good baseball like that, it hurts even more when you get injured. Being on the IL sucks no matter what, but when you're feeling really good at the plate and in the field, it makes it even worse. And now you just understand what's ahead for you too. The rehab sucks. Being alone sucks. Not being able to be part of the team and help the guys out. It all goes in your head. And I think you saw right there when you have to answer questions about it, it really starts to set in like, oh man, like it's months of just not being able to do what you love and having to go through just horrible rehab stuff.
This is the best that he has played since that 2019 year where he finished runner-up for the MVP. That's how good he was looking. And remember, he can opt out after this year, and I don't think that injury will prevent him from doing so. I still think he will, but there could be financial implications on top of everything else here. So now, big picture, the Sox are under 500. They're fourth in the American League East. Is their season officially screwed?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I think they're at a turning point. They have to make some decisions with this roster. We got Meyer up. We still have Roman Anthony down there, but is there room for him? And how do you create room? What do you do with Trevor Story? There's a lot of underachievers on the roster right now. The main thing they need is starting pitching. It's not that easy to go out there and get that, and they don't really, bringing their young guys up, which everyone is clamoring for. That doesn't really solve their issues. Maybe it makes it more watchable, and you're getting these guys' feet wet, and maybe you want to plan for next year, but I think it's too early to do that. So I'm not calling their season done. I can't say that. I think there's still enough talent in the lineup, but they have to figure out something with the starting pitching. And I'm not exactly sure how they can do that, Chris, but I'm personally not willing to say their season is over yet.
No, the division might be out of hand because with the way New York is playing and the more guys they might get back, and the fact that you nailed it with Boston, I don't think – I saw a quote from Alex Cora that says we're just going to have to mix and match and kind of feel our way through this thing. That is the last thing you want to do when you're a team like this. And they've got so many young guys that are going to need consistent plate appearances. And Christian Campbell – he got off to that amazing start, but the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been virtually unwatchable. And they had him, I think, in the cleanup spot yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Trevor Story, who still has 2 more years at 25 per pop, is in the lineup every day. He's been hitting like $130 over the last month. His OPS is sub 600. Connor Wong, I know he doesn't get to play that much because Carlos Narvaez has been amazing. By the way, our bad on not listing him among the top 10 catchers last week. That was a total whiff on our part. He has been phenomenal, but Connor Wong had been a dependable player the previous couple seasons. He's got more than 50 plate appearances and hasn't driven in a run all year. They got issues all over the place.
It's funny because they kind of have, I know some of the guys are underachieving, but they have a bunch of position players, and maybe especially in that outfield, like if you want to bring up, your young stud and Anthony, what are you doing? Are you going to take Rafael at center field? He's been phenomenal out there. I know he doesn't bring a lot offensively, but he's already racked up 1.7 BWAR.
You know what people are saying they're going to do.
Put him at shortstop?
No. You know who
trade
they're
somebody?
They're going to trade?
Jarren Duran?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it's like, why? Why trade him?
Well, he's not even a free agent.
You're trading him for starting pitching into clear room. I understand, I guess,
Yeah.
why you would do it, but he's, pretty good ball player just to give up. You better get something really good in return.
Yes. I mean, that would be the goal.
I'm just saying, don't trade just to bring up a guy. Like if it has to be the right deal.
Yeah, he's got 3 more years of control on top of everything else, and he's right.
Didn't he put up an 8 WAR season last year? 9 WAR?
Yeah, he finished top 10 MVP. He was incredible. Here's the thing that would boggle my mind. They have got the American League version of Paul Skeens in their rotation. You see what Garrett Crochet has done this year? A dozen starts. He's given up 17 earned runs total. What do you think the Red Sox record is in his dozen starts?
I don't think it's good.
It's 6-6.
Ah.
That's inexcusable. When you got a guy running that hot, you're playing 500 ball when he's on the mound. Now, with all this being said, they're only 2.5 out of the wild card. So I'm not saying cash in your chips and just go play all the young guys and we'll figure that out. I don't think that's the best mentality for this organization to have. We know they've got 3 studs, that 2 of them are already here. Another one is on his way soon. Hell, I mean, would you bring up Anthony or not?
I think you got to move a lot of things around if you're going to do that, which, I think some guys are willing to do on their team. Some guys aren't willing to do that on their team, as we've discussed ad nauseum. Yeah, like you want your best 26 people on the roster. I think if we're being honest, he's part of that crew. I just don't think that actually solves their problems, Chris.
Yeah, let us know, Red Sox fans. How do you want to see this play out? Because I don't think the season is over. We've seen what happens when teams get hot and get in the wild card. And who the hell would want to face a rotation led by Garrett Crochet? Do they have some other things to figure out? But does Bayo need to get better? What the hell happened to Tanner Houck? Can we figure out who kidnapped him and replaced him with whoever this imposter is? All that sort of stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out.
Yeah, the veterans. I mean, Lucas and Walker need to be better. Bayo needs to be better. If that happens, or those 3 guys all of a sudden just kind of magically figure things out, then okay. Like the season's not over, and anybody that says it is insane.
I agree with you. I'm far from being over in my question. All right, I got some quick stuff for you. Jacob deGrom failed to record a strikeout yesterday for the first time in 229 career starts. How big a wow is that for you?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, my thought process was like, well, was there ever like a really short start where he didn't pitch well, or maybe he got injured before he got a strikeout? And obviously that didn't happen. So it's shocking to hear numbers like that, Chris.
Yeah. And the guy, what did he go? 5 1/3 yesterday? So, I mean, he worked
especially with a start that long. Yeah.
Yeah. That is kind of mind numbing a little bit.
I wonder what was that the biggest streak? Active streak?
Oh,
I don't know how you find stats like that, but
no, they probably type it in. It's these computer things. There was just a machine where you could type stuff in and it would tell you the answer.
I don't think you can do that. I mean, AI is good, but maybe it's not that good, Chris. Maybe not the one I'm using.
I've got this. This is pretty impressive. O'Neal Cruz crushed one 122.9 miles per hour. Home run against the Milwaukee Brewers. That is a record in the StatCast era. How impressed should we be?
Really impressed, but it's not, this is what he does. He's been mashing baseballs like that since he was in the minor leagues. We used to see those StatCast reports from them in the minor leagues. That's 122 is insane, Chris. I fancy myself a power hitter. That's all I really had. I think my highest exit velo was like 114. Those are 8 miles an hour on top of that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, there's only a few guys that could do that, and that's like max effort, like trying to have exit velo. To do that on a pitch in the big leagues in a regular game is crazy.
We saw both the swings, I guess you could say swings and misses in this case, of O'Neal Cruz on the same day. He drills that one almost 123 miles an hour on a day where he strikes out 3 times. Like that is if I were to ask the question, is O'Neal Cruz a good baseball player? How long would it take us to have that discussion?
He is a good baseball player. He's very I think talented is a better word to describe him.
But that's not the question. The question is he a good baseball player?
He's a good baseball player. Come on, stop.
He does amazing things when it comes to StatCast, whether it comes to hitting the ball, because he's always among the top in exit velo every year. I think he's got the top 2. Remember when he was a shortstop and he threw the ball 98 miles an hour across the diamond? That was some sort of record as well. So he wows us with these. He's like I don't know. He's an amazing TikTok. That's what I describe him as.
I mean, Chris, he's got an 859 OPS with 18 swipes already. So he's a good baseball player.
And his WAR is barely over 1?
It's 1-2.
Okay.
We're a third of the way through the season, so I mean, you could see him get into a 4 WAR season. It's not out of the realm.
I hope
possibilities.
so.
And guess what? A 4 WAR season is really nice, Chris.
Hell yes, it is. Hell yes, it is. But there's times you look at him and play him, but you're like, whoa. But then there's other times where it's amazing.
Yes, I think Pirates fans know that feeling very well.
Okay. Philly had its 9-game winning streak snapped Sunday in West Sacramento, but there were a couple of amazing moments in Northern California to extend the streak. Friday night, you had Johan Rojas making that tumbling catch that preserved a 1-0 lead at the time. This is just incredible. He got twisted every which way, and then he did that. Phillies eventually won that game. Then on Saturday, down a run in the 9th, Max Kepler, your boy, against Mason Miller, turns around 101-6, leaves the yard, ties the game, forces extras. They win it in the 10th. Which Philly outfielder was more impressive in the clutch?
Well, Rojas took a bad route on that, and he got twisted around. He twisted himself. Okay, like, that wasn't like, oh man, he's going through some obstacles here. Like he went the wrong way right there.
That's a hard ball.
That's not an easy catch. I'm just saying, like they should center fielders make that catch. Kepler, I think, is probably more impressive, although Mason Miller's been getting hit. And you can throw 101 miles an hour, but if you leave it straight like that, you're gonna put the ball in the seats like Kep did. You, Chris, I'm gonna say this real quick. So I'm gonna go with Kepler for my answer. Obviously I love him. You were spot on about this too. The A's needing to trade Mason Miller. The numbers are tough right now, Chris. They're real tough with him. Negative WAR, 5.79 ERA through 18 2/3 innings pitch. I know the stuff is still there, but location's been bad. There's been some walks. You were right.
The thing about Kepler's home run, so it came in 101-6 and it left the bat at 101-6.
Yeah, jammed a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, that must suck when you get jammed and the ball goes 410 feet or whatever. Wow.
All you got to do is put the ball in the air there. I'll be there on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. Let me know how the accommodations are.
Dallas Braden says he's got a nice place to take me to dinner. So shout out Dallas.
Oh, that's not very nice. Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. Friday night, we had a really, really weird play. Starling Marte actually got thrown out at home. Great throw by Teo. So we're all like, oh, okay. End of the inning. That's it. And then everybody's still on the field. We're wondering why. And then they say visual instruction. That is Tripp Gibson, who called this not once, but twice in the evening. Called it against Brett Beatty and the Mets as well. Max Muncy, as you can see, is kind of standing in front of Marte. Are you okay with this call?
No, I'm not okay with this call. Even if it's by the book, it's ridiculous because this does not get called. We have a clip that we put out, whether it was on this show or Talking Baseball. I don't know which one it was, but it's me talking about Adrian Beltre did this to me one game. and I'd never seen it before. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I started doing it. And I have had umpires say, hey, man, like, you can't be in front of them. That's obstruction. And I would say to them, well, how? I'm just around the base. Like, I'm allowed to be around the base. Never got called. Never saw get called on Adrian Beltre. So, like, look, we have a rule book. And I understand some people wanting it to be called by the book no matter what. But that's just not the case all the time. This never gets called. To see it called twice? Who knows? Maybe he saw that clip and it got in his mind. He was like, I'm going to call this. I feel like sometimes that's what happens with umpires. They get reminded of something and they want to make it happen. So they make it happen. Like that's crazy, Chris.
Well, you didn't live through this, but I want to say it was either the late 80s or early 90s. They wanted to make the balk a big thing. And do you remember the umpire Bob Davidson?
Yes.
They called him Balk and Bob.
Yeah.
Because that year they were calling balk all the time. They must have had some sort of meeting about it in the offseason. They're like, everybody is balking. We have to get it out of the game. And of course, just like with Major League Baseball, they went the other direction. So now they're calling it several times a game. And every fan is sitting here going, you've got to be shitting me. Like, we don't even know what a balk is. And now we see guys moving from base to base. And it was insane. And I felt like somebody said in the league office, hey, there's guys doing a lot of obstruction, visual obstruction. Let's keep our eyes on this one. And I think Tripp Gibson had a hard on for it.
Visual obstruction. That's silly. I'm sorry, man. Hey, if you're the runner on third base, move your head or listen to your third base coach.
Exactly.
Or, all sorts of stuff can happen. But I've never seen that called. And I've actually bragged about how no one's ever called it. It's one of our bigger social media clips that we have. And then it happens twice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last thing of the day. I know you're not a college baseball fan, but still. Jace Laviolette of Texas A&M broke his finger Thursday night, had surgery to put in a pin, but was back in the lineup on Friday and drove in a couple of runs for the Aggies. Stud?
Yeah. Yeah, like part of me wants to say like hardo, but like that's pretty badass, dude. To have any sort of, even if you got stitches and you played the next day, like actually having a pin put in, and I mean, I don't know what they gave him. Definitely some pain management. I don't know how they did it, but I got to give stud there. I can't, you know how I feel about college baseball, but what am I supposed to say about that, Chris?
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He drove in 2 of the 3 runs. I think they ended up losing, but he said, listen, I was told I couldn't injure myself anymore. I gripped the bat. It didn't feel that bad. He said, I would run through a wall for this coaching staff and for this team. I was like, oh. And then, by the way, this kid is a double stud. He is the all-time leading home run hitter in Aggies history. So he loves the game. And if you love the game and you want to go out there and grind it and go try and be the best you can be, freaking, I don't care if you set off a metal detector in the airport. Go for it, brother.
If I say this quote, I want to know if you know the movie. Pain don't hurt.
I'm so bad with movie quotes.
Oh, Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse, the original.
See, I'm gonna lose so many points because
you've never seen that.
I know. I haven't seen a lot of great movies.
Okay. I mean, that is actually a great movie. I liked it. The new one with Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal. Little cheesy, entertaining, cheesy. Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, awesome.
Yeah, but if you're gonna remake those classics, they're going to end up being cheesy. The whole point is that we made it through those ones.
But Jake Gyllenhaal, he must have owed a favor or something because he's like a legit actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's really good.
Wanted to do that. It's interesting.
Patrick Swayze was a great actor.
I'm saying no, it was a great. The original was great. I love Patrick Swayze. Chris, let me tell you something before we end the show. I'm sorry. I know college baseball is not like cracking down on like all the antics. You know, you've seen umpires kind of ushering guys through and stuff. I don't want to tell anybody in the Major League Baseball what to do. You can do what you want in Major League Baseball. I had a kid hit a homer against our team. Big kid. You know how it is. Like 9 and under baseball, there's like some massive kids that just dominate because they are just so much stronger. We played against a kid that was like that. Every sort of flair that you could have hits a homer. I'm not joking, Chris, to get around these little bases. It was like almost a full minute, and he was like screaming, pointing to everybody, going like this. Like, it was so much. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to bean the kid. You know, I don't do that. I'm not a fan of beaning.
We are
Even in the big
Nope.
leagues, I wanted to bean the kid. We didn't, obviously. It's 9 and under baseball. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, where do you get this from? Because you see guys celebrate at the big leagues. I understand that. But this was like, he took it to an entirely new level. And I wanted to be like, guys, if you're his coach, you have to tell him, stop, dude. Like, you can celebrate, but it was obnoxious.
Having lived through coaching kids and now being on the other side of it, here's where I sit.
Okay, tell me, because I need some advice. Sometimes I'm like, what is going on here?
Because people that listen to this show know I love celebrations. I loved watching Ronald Acuna take his time around third. I dig that stuff. I'm all for it, and I'm all for it when the pitchers do great too. I want to see that. So people will say, well, what do I tell my kids if Trevor is mad that the kids? Here's what you do. You be a parent. You pull your kid aside and say, great, do one thing around the bases. Have your emotion, get it out of your system. Don't sit there and do cartwheels and do all that. And then when they say, well, hold on, my favorite MLB player does it, you tell them, hey, when you get to the major leagues, go do whatever the hell you want. That way you give them something to strive for. And that's it. It makes it very simple. Like people, I hate it when parents say, what am I supposed to tell my kids? Be a goddamn parent. Go parent them.
Hey, a lot of parents need to hear that. Be a parent is something that a lot of people, I don't want to take the fun. I'm not trying to say that. I know the comments are going to be like, oh, let the kids play, whatever. I don't mind it at all. This was just, I bet I have a video of it because we do like the game changer thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, Chris. I was like sitting shocked at what was going on.
You know what? We're going to talk about, this will be a more extensive topic.
Okay.
Because I think it's a good one. And I want people, you can leave your comments early on. We're going to have a bigger discussion about this because I do think it's really interesting. I'm going to talk to some major leaguers about it.
I almost wanted to go up to Kim like, hey, you're big now, but most of the guys that peak early stink by the time they're 12. I didn't say that.
And they end up being 5'7".
I wanted to
start losing their hair at 21. It happens.
I had a lot of stuff going on youth baseball, guys. A lot of coaches are the number one culprits at this level. I need to put in their place. I feel like I'm sent on this earth to put 9U coaches in their place because they are obnoxious as well. I need to, maybe that's my calling in life, Chris. I don't know.
3 other things. Quick reminder, once again, Ball and Play starts again tonight. Watch it, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. We'll all be in the stream. It'll be great. Number 2, latest dugout discussions with Zach Gallen. Not having a good year. We talked about that. Super introspective. He's a free agent to be. He's a Carolina guy. Talk a lot. There's really a ton of fun stuff in there. And then I also sat down with Torey Lovello and showed him Jimmy's breakdown of him throwing out all of the umpires. We're working on that. He was great. Not a lot of managers would have done that. He not only did it, he had a blast with it. And that's going to be coming out shortly. So make sure you check out all that stuff. We are back at it again on Hump Day. We cannot wait. Once again, a big shout out to our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, who is now a year older after his birthday on Monday. Also to our awesome intern, Sawyer, who does a great job. Enjoy the fishing that you're going to be doing later today. That is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. Don't get on the wrong side of him if you're a 9-year-old baseball player. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday on Baseball Today.